following is an exclusive presentation of Jesup Broadcasting, the sports leader in Southeast Georgia.
World famous. The world famous Butch and Bob Show.
And good morning to you. You're listening to the Big Dog, WIFO FM in Jesup, 105.5 on your FM dial, Big Dog Country Radio. It's now time for the world-famous Butch and Bob Show, brought to you by Nips Car Wash and by Murphy Builder Supply. And, Bob, we got a very special guest this morning on the phone.
Yeah, as promised, we've got Lieutenant Governor Jeff Duncan on the phone with us, talking about the upcoming session, which kicks off on Monday. And, Jeff, always good to have you here on the show. Appreciate you being with us. Your thoughts on the upcoming session?
Well, thanks for the opportunity. I always enjoy getting to spend some time with you all in the morning and all the folks that listen to you down there. And, looking forward to session, right? This is number 2, and it's hard to believe it's already been 12 months since Brian and I got sworn in, Governor Kemp, and just excited to get back to work. And, I think just continue to reinforce the fact that we got a lot of great things going on here in Georgia, and we're going to keep trying to be an example to the rest of the country.
We had our eggs and issues yesterday here at the at the Coastal Pines Technical College, but we had State Senator Blake Tillery, State Representative Stephen Meeks, and Bill Werkheiser on hand. And they say the main topic is going to be, of course, the budget. So tell us a little bit about the budget.
Well, just the unsolicited promotion here for Senator Blake Tillery. He's been a great friend of ours, and I know he's a true conservative champion down there in your neck of the woods. And thanks for sending him my way and allowing us to continue to move forward here. Look, the budget is going to be a big deal. I applaud Governor Kemp for coming at this from a fiscal conservative perspective and making sure that we live within our means, just like everyone else. That in our own personal lives, we got to make sure that we don't spend more than we make. And Governor Kemp has definitely made sure he's alerted all the departments and agencies to be as efficient as possible. We'll have a vigorous discussion, which I'm sure 11 million Georgians expect us to have around the budget, and I'm sure this is what I'll guarantee: we will pass a budget, and it will be balanced, and that will definitely make 11 million people in Georgia proud.
Well, the one thing they discussed on the budget is the governor's promise to give the teachers a pay raise, but they state there's a shortfall. So the question was, is he going to be able to fulfill that promise this year to the teachers?
Well, I applaud Governor Kemp for taking the first big step at that last year. With that initial pay raise, as I go around the state and give speeches and meet with folks, it's unbelievable how many teachers and spouses of teachers come up and give me a hug or shake my hand and thank me for it. It's just what a difference it's made in their communities. I know we're going to do all we can do to continue to fight for teachers and fight for quality education all across Georgia, and so we'll have to see how it plays out with the budget, and hopefully we can continue to get support behind public education. I've got 3 kids in the public schools. We've got a high schooler, a middle schooler, and an elementary school kid. In fact, I'm watching 2 of them raid the refrigerator right now to pack their lunches. So we're going to continue. The greatest gift we give a child is a quality K-12 education. And so we're going to continue to fight hard for that.
Now, when you discuss any budget here locally or statewide, health care costs seems to be the big issue. They talked about the soaring drug cost. Where do we stand as far as the health care statewide?
Yeah, healthcare has been a big focus of mine. Well before I've been lieutenant governor professionally, I've been in the healthcare space and been an investor in the healthcare space. And, so we focused a lot of time and effort this past off session, the lieutenant governor's office, on price transparency and the right to shop. We're going to champion some legislation this year that's going to allow us to hopefully be able to open up this price transparency piece in a way that allows consumers or patients to be informed. Healthcare is the only industry I know in the world that you can go buy a service or product and not know how much it costs until 2 or 3 weeks after you get home from the hospital. If any other business operated that way, we would all be scratching our heads and kicking and screaming. We're going to try to create a system here in Georgia that other states, I think, will copy and want to copy, and I think that's great, but allow us to inform consumers as to who's the best doctor and who's got the best price, and allow the consumer to make the choice.
Just joining us, Lieutenant Governor Jeff Duncan on the phone with us here on the world-famous Butch and Bob Show, talking about the upcoming legislative session. Broadband was a big topic yesterday. Where do we stand statewide with that?
Yeah, it's a big deal to me, too. If you've ever heard me speak, hopefully you've heard me highlight the fact that I want Georgia to be the technology capital of the East Coast of this country, and that's just not an Atlanta story. That's all of Georgia. I think technology knows no boundaries. And it's a great opportunity for us to build a generation worth of jobs all across the state. And, we've got to have high-speed internet and broadband to get there. We took some great steps last year in empowering EMCs and kind of pulling the stakeholders together to drive broadband even deeper. But we can't stop now. We've got to keep pushing. The way we educate our kids is kind of leaning into broadband in the schools, and we need to make sure when they get home. But also from an economic development story, there's no way a community could invite a legitimate economic development target into their district if they can't tell them that their company can operate with high-speed broadband. We're going to continue to fight hard. We've got some friends in D.C. now that are going to hopefully help us be able to continue to build the narrative and fund the growth opportunities for broadband.
Speaking of representatives yesterday, they didn't seem to think there were any controversial issues coming up in the session. You see anything controversial this year?
Certainly. There's tons of them. But here's what I know. The attitude I take as the president of the Senate is to walk into that room every day and try to build a consensus amongst all the folks, all 56 senators that are in there. So contentious is one thing. I want to take everybody's ideas and try to mold those into big ideas for Georgians. I represent and work for 11 million Georgians. So when we talk about the big issues like health care reform, education, public safety, transportation, those are big ideas that we're going to continue to build consensus in the Senate. One of the things that I think most of the folks in and around the process last year watched us walk out of that session and felt like there was a strong continuity of government on display. The Senate worked really well with the House, and we all worked really well with the governor's office. I think we'll continue to see that be a narrative this year as we try to work for, like I said, 11 million Georgians to get the big ideas across the finish line.
One topic that was floated last year in the session that got a little traction but was voted down or never got to the floor was a second airport, to get away from the hectic Atlanta airport and possibly making an airport in Macon, Georgia. Where do we stand on that?
Yeah, look, I think we're going to continue to have discussions, all across, both sides of the chamber about transportation, around airports, around governance. Look, we want to make sure that we put our best foot forward for 11 million Georgians, and transportation's a big deal all across the state as we continue to evolve and become I think an economic power all across the country, and we're going to continue, I'm sure, to have those discussions. But at the end of the day, I think Georgians want us to have those discussions to make sure, we put our best foot forward each and every day.
Yeah, the governor has an agenda. He was down in Savannah late last year, and he talked about how he wants to get gangs out of this area, out of the state of Georgia. So where do we stand on that? And how?
Yeah, it's a big issue. I mean, look, and we're not talking just, I think the numbers that the governor gave a speech the other day, and he talked about 70,000+ gang members. That's like, Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And these aren't people who just think about being in a gang. These are people who are actually criminal-minded, committing crimes, gang-related. I applaud the governor. I applaud Vic Reynolds at the GBI for putting this in position A on the to-do list every day, because we got to uproot these folks. We got to get them out of here. We've got too many good things ahead of us here in Georgia with our families, with our businesses, with our communities, to have to be distracted with these criminal activities. And like I said, I applaud the governor. He doesn't go a day without mentioning it and putting it on the top of his to-do list.
No, I'm sure it's all about priorities. Besides the budget, what are the top three priorities in this session in your eyes?
Yeah, for us in the Lieutenant Governor's office, we're going to continue to gain ground on health care. It affects every single person in this state. We're going to continue to drive down costs and increase access in an area like y'all's. Access to health care can sometimes be difficult. We think there's additional tools like telehealth and additional opportunities to expand access. We're going to focus on in the Lieutenant Governor's office, too, on foster care. It's near and dear to my heart, and I know that, we talk a lot about Georgia being the number one place to do business, and I'm proud of that, like y'all are probably proud of that. But I want it to be the number one place to be a foster kid. And we're going to fight hard for those kids this year and try to get better opportunities for them. And then last but not least, we're going to truly focus in on being this technology capital of the East Coast. We want to create jobs in your area. We want to create jobs in even further south in North Georgia. We think we can really create some incredible opportunities to invite investment from all over the world to flow into Georgia. and let the best and biggest ideas cultivate right here in our great state.
I know you're a Georgia Tech alumni and got a baseball background. My morning man wanted to ask you how far you went and what organizations did you play for in baseball?
Yeah, so I got drafted in 1996 by the Florida Marlins, and I spent all 6 seasons beating it around in the minor leagues. And I kind of hit every stop along the way. I hit rookie ball, low A, high A, double A, and my last 2 years I got to spend in triple A. It was a blast, and if I had the opportunity to do it again, I would, but I don't think anybody would sign me again at 44 years old.
How do you go from baseball to politics? How did you make that transition?
Yeah, in between baseball and politics, I had a business career. I built a couple of companies and sold them. My pathway into politics started sitting in a church. Our pastor about 9 years ago challenged everybody in the room to stop complaining, start finding their way to get involved, whether it was being mentoring kids or being more fiscally responsible in your community. And at the end, he said, you might even have to go run for office. And I looked at my wife and I said, let's go run for office. And she kind of chuckled and said, that's the craziest idea you've ever had. And fast forward, we won a state house race in Forsyth County by 55 votes. And 5 years later, we ran for lieutenant governor, and here we are today.
We always talk about the 2 Georgias, but people inside Georgia feel good about the fact, like I said, Brian Kemp's been down here several times. You've been down here. You've recently down in Scriven, Georgia, at an event. So how many trips are planned for South Georgia this year? Still several?
Yeah, look, we've been down there a bunch during the off session. We were just in Americus a couple of times, and obviously Blake has been so gracious as to take us around to all of his district down there. And look, if rural Georgia was concerned about getting attention, they've got Jeff Duncan and Brian Kemp, who's paying tons of attention to rural Georgia. We understand y'all are a huge part of our future, and we want to make sure your kids are getting educated, your economies are growing, your communities are safe. We're going to fight hard every minute of every day to make sure you guys are represented inside that Georgia Capitol.
We definitely appreciate you being here on the show. Again, you're always welcome. The governor's always welcome as well. And again, it's very insightful to our listening audience. And again, I know you're a busy man, but we do appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule being here on the world-famous Butch and Bob Show.
Absolutely. Thanks for the opportunity, and come see me in Atlanta.
Okay. Sure will, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate it very much.
We look forward to having you on the Butch and Bob Show during the session sometime, okay?
I'm looking forward to it, too. Y'all have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye. All right, Jeff Duncan, Lieutenant Governor of the state of Georgia, our special guest here on the world-famous Butch and Bob Show. And it looks like he's all ready to go to it, Bob.
Yeah, it all kicks off Monday. I said had the exit issues yesterday, so our representatives were headed up there. So I said we got Mondays with Meeks, Tuesdays with Tillery's, Wednesdays with Workheisers. All that's lined up. So
and of course, Blake will set in to have Governor Brian Kemp on the world-famous Butch and Bob Show, and Lieutenant Governor, as he did last year during the course of the session. And we'll just have to see when he can line those up. Yeah,
it's good to have him.
Yes,
event yesterday, like I said, another well-attended event. So, it's always good to see your representatives. I said they're so accessible. They give out their phone numbers and email addresses, and we tell everybody that's listening. Like I said, if you have a question for one of those guys, that's what you do. Just email them,
all the time.
They will respond. So.
Now, you won't see him as much right now with the session taking place here, but he thinks Jeff Duncan said, the Lieutenant Governor said he thinks it'll be over by the end of March. They should not go into April. He doesn't see any issues that would to keep it going that long. That should be as normal toward the end of March. So sessions begin. When do we start with the Monday with Meeks and Tuesdays with Tillery and
probably the second week?
Second week,
They got to get their feet wet up there, but
And when do they start? When does the gavel go for the first day?
Monday's the first.
It's coming
day.
Monday.
Right, this coming Monday it opens up.
Okay, sounds good.
The governor will give his state address one day next week, and then they'll go from there.
All right, sounds good. Well, Jake Fromm leaving Georgia, Bob.
It didn't surprise me. I said I don't think he could improve his draft status in next year from this year. So, next year he'd be third or fourth quarterback selected. This year he'll be third or fourth quarterback selected. So I think he's making the right decision for himself and his family. So wish him the best. Again, he's had a great career at Georgia.
Yeah, that's
quarterback.
3 years starting is pretty good for a college athlete today. That's one of the ones top ones.
Led Georgia an SEC title first time in 12 years his freshman year. So, just a great overall kid. Wish him nothing but the best.
So who's going to take his place next year?
That's a good question. I think that's the $64,000 question. I said Kirby says they're looking at the transfer portal, trying to get an experienced graduate transfer in there. They're looking at the quarterback from Wake Forest, who's a graduate transfer. So I think he'll be the person they go after.
I thought they've been signing good quarterbacks the last several years. I guess have they all transferred out or what?
Well, they got a hotshot freshman in Carson Beck, but I think Kirby likes an experienced quarterback. Somebody's tested, so we'll see how it plays out. But that's the word in Athens that they're looking at the transfer portal, graduate transfer. They want the kid from Wake Forest to come.
Okay.
So we'll see how soon that takes place.
All right. Well, we look forward to see what's going to be happening with that situation there. We do wish Jake always the best. It's good to see Georgia quarterbacks in the NFL doing well.
He looked good in black and gold. He's a quality backup.
You want everybody to go to Pittsburgh.
Especially from Georgia. Go Dogs. Dogs to Pittsburgh. That's a good transition.
That's a good transition, huh, Bob?
I'd like to see him in black and gold. It'd be good.
Well, they need somebody up there now with Big Ben being hurt all the time.
They definitely need a backup quarterback who can read defenses, that's for sure. So.
How old is Ben now? He's got to be in his 36, 37?
38. Yeah, he's up there. Brady's playing at 42, so,
Yeah, well, I don't know if Ben takes his care of himself as good as Brady does. I don't know if anybody takes as good as care of themselves as Brady does.
Big Ben on Christmas said he's coming back, so that was a good Christmas present. So I need him back at least 2-3 more years.
Okay, at least 2 or 3 more years. Huh? Well, the Eggs and Issues breakfast was held yesterday, put on by the Wayne County Chamber of Commerce there at Coastal Pines Technical College. What did you take from it, Bob? Hearing the representatives and state senators speak and all that.
Not much.
Not much.
Pretty standard stuff, budget, broadband.
Yeah.
It was a good meal.
Good meal, though. That was a good thing. That was the best thing about it, huh, Bob? Great meal.
The best thing about it. It was good breakfast.
Oh.
Good food.
Okay.
It was well attended,
Lots of folks there, huh?
I've said it for years. I just think that the way they should do it, they don't need a moderator. They just put a microphone in the middle of the floor and start questions from the audience.
Oh, that could get out of hand.
Well, they're politicians.
Yeah.
I just think that's the way I would do it. If I was in charge, that's what I would do.
Always would
the
do.
moderators thing, I was falling asleep.
Oh, Bob.
That's what I took from it. I'm just telling you. You pay you $25. The good thing about those guys, they stick around, and anybody has a question, they can go up there and talk to them individually. I understand all that, but to me, it'd be more exciting seeing questions come from the audience.
Well, you've been to enough meetings, Bob. You know that you can get 1 or 2 very angry people who don't agree with anybody about anything, and they'll control the entire meeting.
I understand.
You understand that? Yeah, we've seen it happen time after time after time. You don't want 1 or 2 people to have an axe to grind to be able to sit there and dominate the entire meeting, which we've seen it hundreds of times. So they try to do it in an orderly fashion where all the questions are asked in an orderly fashion, Bob.
I get it.
No matter how boring you think it is.
I was falling asleep.
You want fireworks, right, Bob?
No, I don't want fireworks. I just think if you're going to pay $25, $30, whatever.
It's not a show, Bob. It's not entertainment.
I'm just giving you my opinion.
It's not like going to see Mark the Magic Man this weekend, Saturday, there at the auditorium at the high school. This is just a morning meeting with a representative and state senator. Was there any representatives from the senators there? Or any congressmen or anything of that sort?
There's somebody there. I can't remember who it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, we do have a new senator now, U.S. senator here in the state of Georgia. The lady, what's her name again?
Kelly Loeffler. I think somebody from her office was there, but I didn't get to meet him.
David Perdue was supposed to be there with her to be like her right-hand man, sponsor, whatever. I don't know what the person was, but there's someone there to introduce her and to present her. But David said that he was sick, and so a senator from Iowa, I believe, or something like that, had to step in and present her. And we don't want to go there about it. Oh, all right. Let's see here. Sports-wise for Wayne County High School, what's going on right now, Bob?
Wrestlers are in action today.
The wrestlers? Wrestlers?
Basketball action Friday against South Effingham. So it's the fall time of year. I said football banquet Monday night. Touchdown Club tickets are on sale. That's the main thing. I think Lynn Lewis is going to come in here tomorrow and talk a little bit about what's going to take place Super Bowl Saturday. They're moving it back to the Country Club, which is good. Going to have a live band, a lot of auction items, but a $10,000 drawing, always a popular event this time of year. So always well attended, but the tickets go extremely quick. They're available at Prime South Bank. Go by and see Katie. So if you want a ticket for the drawing, chance to win $10,000 on Super Bowl weekend. That's the chance to do it.
10,000 smackers.
$10,000.
They're going to watch the Super Bowl and give away the money?
No, it's Super Bowl Saturday.
Oh,
Saturday night.
Super Bowl Saturday, not Sunday.
No,
Okay.
Saturday night.
All right. I still think they need to delay the Super Bowl. Somehow figure out the system where they delay the Super Bowl a week, so it'll be the Sunday before Martin Luther King Day on the Monday, because that's a holiday. I think that just would work out good.
You just need to make it the Monday after the Super Bowl national holiday.
Yeah, but you already got one the next week. Martin Luther King will be 2 weeks in a row. All you got to do is delay it a week, and then you got the Super Bowl Sunday. It's not going to take away from the Martin Luther King activities on Saturday or Monday.
The more holidays, the better. I mean, just add some more.
The more 3-day weekends you get, Bob, the better, huh?
Amen.
Amen.
Should be a New Year's resolution.
And everybody said hallelujah.
I mean, it should be a New Year's resolution. Let's go. Let's add some more holidays to the calendar. Give people some more time off work. I like
Yes, sir. They got that new young president in Finland now. The prime minister there in Finland, who's like a 30-something-year-old woman. I mean, someone you would never think that would be prime minister of any country, but now she's prime minister, and she's like 35 years old or something like that. And she's recommending to their parliament that they have a national, because they have a lot more national laws over there than we do. They change it to where Finland workers only have to work 6 hours a day, 5 days a week, instead of 8 hours a day.
Sounds popular to me. Smart politician.
Smart politician, huh? All right, well, let's see here. Remember, you can always text in questions and comments to our regular business line. Text them in 912-427-3711. Someone text in and says, Bob, what do you think about the 3-2 vote with the county and the fact that they couldn't even get a deal to dump dry trash? Do you think the city is distancing itself from the county and all the drama?
I've said it at the end of last year. The relationship between the city and county right now is not a good situation. And I said the 3-2 votes in the county commission is just a sad situation, but it doesn't seem like it's going to change because they had 3-2 votes to start the first meeting of the year. So
that's just the way it ended last year, right?
It's just a bad situation. But, it's definitely a divided board in the county. You got Kevin McCreary and Ralph Hickox on one side and 3 commissioners on the other side. I mean, it's just, that's the way it is. That's the way it was at the end of last year. That's the way it is right now.
Years ago, it used to be
how it gets resolved.
It used to be Herschel Hires and Ralph Hickox. Now it's Ralph Hickox and Kevin McCreary and the other 3. So let's all 5 get together somehow.
I don't have the answer for that.
Well,
like I said,
we'll have to work
the
out.
sad thing is, like I said, I'll give credit to Ralph Hickox and Kevin McCreary. They both have been man enough to come on the show and address the issues. I've yet to see Herschel. I've yet to see Ed Jeffords. I've yet to see the others. Boot has come in. I give him credit.
Boot's been here.
As we say all the time, everybody's invited to come on in, address the issues. But, I've been begging the chairman, Herschel Hires, to come in. He keeps saying he's coming, but I've yet to see him. So I'd like to have him in here because he's got some answers, hopefully. But it's just a sad situation. It's frustrating to go watch those meetings and sit there and just watch the divisiveness, but it's a divisive board.
Do we usually have a chairman that's been chairman for 3 years?
They normally
rotate? How does that work? I don't know how it works.
It's normally on a rotating basis. I don't see where the chairman's such a big issue. Like I said, it's not that big of a deal. You do have to know Robert's Rules of Orders, though, to keep the meeting,
Do they control the agenda?
Right.
What can or can't be on there?
I'm not sure if they, anybody can get something on the agenda. You just got to do it in a timely manner. They just read the agenda. They're the ones that conduct the meeting,
right.
So to me, I've been doing it 35 years. It's rotated most of the time. Every year they pretty much rotate it unless they, it's not like they get anything more from it. So I don't know.
Was Shag ever chairman?
think he was vice chairman at one time. I don't know if Shag ever got the chairmanship.
Okay.
I don't think he did.
Right.
I think he was vice chairman a couple of times, but I don't think he was ever chairman.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what the advantages are. Like, there's got to be some sort of advantage since people want to run for it. And but anytime during the meeting where it's got items under the commissioners, any commissioner can bring something up. I mean, they're equal in votes. So I don't know. I don't know if it's that big of a deal or not. It may be. I don't know.
My bigger issue is the city and county. They're not on good terms. I said the issue with the landfill, the animal control. The animal control thing just boggles my mind. That's the most stupidest thing. The city just wanted another officer. The county could have paid $30,000 for an officer. Now they're budgeting $175,000 from a county that says they don't have any money. So it makes no sense whatsoever.
All right, someone just texted in that, yes, the chairman controls the floor.
He controls the meeting, right?
Yeah.
I don't think he controls the agenda, though.
And it says, yes, Shag was chairman in 2009 and in 2001. Okay. 2001 and 2009.
There you go. Yeah.
Here's somebody in the know here, man. They keep up with this stuff.
Maybe Shag. Maybe Shag.
I don't think it's Shag.
Shag would know if he's chairman or not.
Oh.
I mean, so.
Yeah.
I wanted Shag to come in, after he retired.
After he retired.
But he wouldn't do it.
He wouldn't come in after he retired?
I said, I'd love to come,
he was always one of our highest rated shows when we had Shag in here.
Yeah, and he's still invited. The invitation
Anytime Shag
still
wants to come
stands.
on.
Yeah. I'd love to have him come in here, get his thoughts on the divisiveness. He's seen it. But it's a sad situation. And like I tell you, people, it's not good. We say it all the time. The only time things get done is when everybody works together. Mm-hmm. When you got the city and county government not working together and at each other's throat, it's just not a good situation, and it's just not there.
All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and say who's texting this in because he put his name on there, and since he put his name on there, I wasn't going to say it's Ralph Hickox. He said, it is a big deal who's chairman. Go back and look at the tax increase. Go back and look at the tax increase. So according to one of our county officers there, then he thinks that the chairman is a big deal because the person controls the floor, what can be said, and all that kind of good stuff. So I guess it is.
I don't think it's that big an issue. If you know how to run a meeting, you can be the chairman.
Okay.
I mean, to me, like I said, in 35 years, I've seen it rotate from district to district. Each district wants to have a chairman. It's kind of like a...
Are you saying that they ought to rotate districts?
They used to rotate. Each year.
Years ago, they used to rotate.
I mean, you got a 5-man board. You got 4 years in a term. Each year, 4 out of the 5 get to serve as chairman. I mean, that's the way it used to be years ago. I mean, it wasn't that big of an issue. Why it's an issue now, I have no idea, but it seemed to be a big issue. 3-2 vote.
All right.
I mean, all you have to do, you have to know Robert's Rules of Orders. You know how to run a meeting. You'd have to control the meeting.
And according to Ralph, it says the chairman is the only one that can add an item alone. It takes 2 commissioners to add an item. So, one of our county commissioners, Ralph Hickox, feels that it is a powerful position to be chairman of the commission. But they used to rotate. But for some reason, we've seen years where you've had the same one a couple of years and stuff like that.
Still got to vote to add the item. I mean, they can make a motion to add the item, but if they don't all vote to put it on there, majority vote, it doesn't get added. So
yeah, that's right.
That's just the way it said.
And that's the way it is. So what can they do to better the relationships between the county and the city, Von?
I have no idea.
You have no idea.
How about a meeting? A meeting on animal control. A meeting on animal control would have been nice, but they didn't ever meet.
Okay. And
why? You're talking about the county says they have no money. They raised your millage 5 mills, and yet they're going to spend $175,000 on animal control that they don't have. So the city and county should have got together. The city said, "Look, we need help. Provide us 1 officer." Mm-hmm. Problem solved. That could have been solved in 5 minutes.
Maybe.
The fact that it wasn't is mind-boggling.
Okay, Ralph just said the chair cannot allow a motion. If they don't want a motion to be allowed, the chair can do that. So, well, Bob, so you think that they just ought to get together, have a meeting between the city council and the mayor and the county commissioners and the...
I still go back to that story I told. They had that big kumbaya in Scriven. How long ago was that? Everybody was on the same page.
Roasting marshmallows, having some s'mores.
We're going to do it every quarter. Hadn't had one since. It's just not. I'm telling you, it's not good.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the solution. I said it. I banged the drum again.
Bang it.
Consolidation. Consolidate the county.
That's not going to happen.
I'm just telling you.
Yeah,
I'm going to keep on harping until somebody out there starts listening. That's how you solve all this foolishness.
Yeah, but it's not going to happen.
Consolidate the county. Put Scriven and Odom representation on the board. Consolidate law enforcement. Let the sheriffs run the court system. That's the answer. I'm going to keep banging the drum. Consolidate, consolidate, consolidate.
Well, just build those muscles up, banging that drum, Bob, but it's not going to happen.
Okay. Before my lifetime, I'm going to see it happen.
All right, any other words of wisdom this morning, Bob, that you can lay upon our listeners?
I have my picks on the NFL games tomorrow, so make sure you go the opposite way because I was 1-3 last week. So
Yeah, you were 1-3 last week.
I'm here to help. As Jonathan says, just listen to what I do and take the opposite.
All right. Have a good day. All right. The world-famous Butch and Bob Show brought to you by Murphy Builder Supply, located on Northeast Broad Street in downtown Jesup, right down from the big red caboose where the builders buy, Murphy Builder Supply, and by Nips Car Wash, located on Highway 301 South, just past McDonald's on the left-hand side. Go down there with their new laser-guided automatic car wash. They got 2 self-service bays.
Butch and Bob Show.